Hello everybody, this is the Unit 2B zero period recovery video. If you're here, hopefully it is because you need to recover the Unit 2B from Algebra's first semester. As always, and again, if this is your first time joining us, this is linked to the Delta Math section that corresponds to recovery. So what I would do is I'd be taking notes with your notes page that you have of these, or if you don't have it, take just a scratch your paper, whatever. Uh, and then I have, after we go over each set, I have the Delta Math sections listed that you should do for that set in each section. So here's the day one ones that we'll do. Here's day two on down here. And you kind of get the point there, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. And again, if this is your first time, make sure you do the Delta Math as we go. If you're curious where that is, on the YouTube channel where you found this, there's a video called How to Access Zero Period Delta Math. That's it. Okay, so follow that one to get yourself linked to the Delta Math. All right, to start off with, this unit is mostly about inequalities. So greater thans, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. I have found that many students do not actually know which of those is which. So let's start by just making a little chart and labeling those. So I'm going to fix my pen, and here we go. All right, so what you need to know about those is that this is a less than sign. So I'd make a little chart because I've noticed that people don't always know. That's a greater than. This is a less than or equal. And this is a greater than or equal. Okay, so that's what's up with that. Okay, now with that, let's go ahead and solve this one for x and see what we got. Okay, so if you add this 5 here, that would be negative 2 plus 5 would be 3 is greater than x. And then if you like that flipped around, you can always just keep this facing the correct direction. Okay, and so this is the same thing as this. Notice it's facing away from the x towards the 3. Okay, and so that's how we write that. Now, I want y'all to notice the thing. I do not have an equal to sign here, so I don't have an equal to sign here. It's that easy, right? So we read this x is less than 3. So put you a open circle at 3, so right in here. And the reason I have an open circle, guys, is because I do not have an equal to. I'm going to make a little note of that. This means you have an equal to. This means you do not. Okay? So this could be a greater than or equal to, or a less than or equal to. This would be a less than or a greater than. Okay? So it's less than, so that means we're going to go to the left towards the more negative numbers. Less than means you go to the left, greater than means you go to the right. So that's how you do that. Let's go and look at another one. Okay, so this one says solve for x and graph the solution on the number line below. Let's do it. This is negative 3 is less than or equal to x divided by 3. Well, let's get that x by itself. What's the opposite of division? It is multiplication. So multiply by 3, multiply by 3. So that's gone now. That makes it negative 9 is less than or equal to x. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I keep the sign facing the x, but I'm going to flip it around. So x is greater than or equal to negative 9. So notice, when I flip these, this also flipped. Okay, so that's going to be my final result here. X is greater than or equal to negative 9. I'm going to put me a closed circle at negative 9. So closed right here at negative 9. Remember, the reason for that is we have an equal to. And so I'm going to make it go this direction. So this way. Okay. All right. Now, there's a couple for you guys to try. So go ahead and pause the video, try these next couple, and then unpause when you're ready for us to check. All right. So hopefully for this one, what you did was you added 3. and that made it 12 is greater than x, or if you wanted to flip that around, x is less than 12. Okay, so you're probably noticing, oh, that does not have an equal sign, and so that should be an open circle at 12. It's less than, so you'd be going this way, because all these numbers are less than 12. Next one. Hopefully what you did was you got rid of this 2 that was on the bottom by multiplying by 2. And so that makes it x is greater than or equal to negative 6. We didn't have to flip that one that time because x was on the left where we like it. So negative 6, it was at equal to, and so with that, we put a closed circle. So greater than or equal to, then draw your line this way. Okay, and that's where we'd have it. Alright, so that's how you do it when there is just one variable, and we're doing it, just drawing it on there. Basically just like solving an equation, but you just have to know which way your arrow is going to go, and whether it's going to be a closed circle or an open circle. Alright, moving along. Now we have some where there are variables on both sides. Now, still the same variable. So this one says solve the following inequality for k, write your answer in simplest form. So what that means, guys, is we got to get the k on both k's on the same side and both numbers on the same side. So you can do one of those at a time, or you can do both at once. What I've found over the years is that students are almost always more comfortable with the variable being on the left. So I'm going to move this 9k over to this side by subtracting it. That cancels that out. I'm also going to move this 9 over to this side by subtracting it. So I'm going to subtract this 9, subtract this 9. So that makes this one negative 5k is less than or equal to 1 minus 9, so negative 8. So the only thing left with that k now is this negative 5. So let's divide by negative 5. So when I divide over by negative 5, I'm getting k is less than or equal to 8 over 5. And it would be done, because k is by itself. If you are a person who really prefers decimals, you could always do that in your calculator, convert to a decimal if you want to. Okay? But that is not necessary at all. Alright, I want you guys to try this one and unpause the video once you've tried it so you can check it. Alright, hopefully I'll move the z's to the left, so minus 8z, that canceled out, minus 8z here, and then hopefully move this 10 over to here, so subtracting 10, subtracting 10, so that probably made that 2z is less than negative 4. Then divided by that 2. That made it z is less than negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. There you go. Alright, there's that. Alright, so now let's practice graphing some. Now, I want y'all to notice on these that we are not solved for y. You guys tend to be way more comfortable with graphing if something is solved for y. And so on all of these where we don't have them solved for y, the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to solve them for y. So let's solve them for y. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this one for y. I'll write it over here so we have room. So 2x plus 3y is greater than or equal to negative 6. And so what you need to do is get this y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2x over. And so that makes that go away. I'll make it 3y is greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 6. Then divide by this 3. And that'll make it y is greater than or equal to negative 2 over 3. So negative 2 over 3x. Then negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, and we have it. Okay. Now, some things to be aware of is now we're literally just graphing in slope-intercept form. Okay, and so I start this at the intercept of negative 2. Then I'm going to go down 2 over 3. So down 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 2 over 3. And then I'm going to go backwards a few to get some more points. So down 2, or excuse me, up 2 now, backwards 3. Up 2, backwards 3. And if you're really uncomfortable with this kind of graphing, I'd encourage you to go back and watch some of those Unit 2A videos. We went over a lot of this graphing in those. Now, one more thing. If you have an equal to, so either of those, that means solid line. If you have a less than or a greater than, that means a dashed line. We had a greater than or equal to, and so that's going to make that a solid line. Now, one more thing you need to know about these is shading. We're going to have to shade, okay? So, shading above will happen when it's greater than or equal to or greater than. Shading below will happen when it's less than or equal to or less than. So, the way I like to think about it is this line going down through here. We just have to think up this way or down this way, okay? Greater than or equal to, we said that's above, and so if you put your pencil along this line, go up, and so that will be this direction. Okay. Sometimes problems will ask you for example solutions, and that would be anything in the shaded area. So you can pick some random point like this one. So 2, 8 is what I just landed on. That'd be an example solution. You can pick a different one like this one. That's -2, 4. That would be fine, right? Now, something down here like -4, -1 would not be a solution because it's below that shaded line. Okay, and let's do one more of those. Okay, so let's solve this one for y. So starting off with our 3x minus 2y is less than or equal to 4. So first thing, move your x's away, then we'll work with the y. So I'll make it -2y is less than or equal to -3x plus 4. Then divide by -2. And here's something that happens. When you divide by a negative, just like you flip signs when you're divided by a negative, you flip this sign too. So before it was a less than or equal to, but we divided by a negative, so we got to flip signs, right? So y is now greater than or equal to. -3 divided by -2 is +3 over 2x. 4 divided by -2 is -2, right? So all those signs are flipping, including this one. So whenever you divide by a negative, make sure to flip your signs. Then we can graph it like normal. So -2 is our y-intercept, so put your point right there. Then go up 3 over 2. Then go up 3 over 2. Then go up 3 over 2. And then I'm going to make some backwards to keep getting some points. Okay. And that is how you do that. Now, we still have an equal to, so this should be a solid line we're drawing through. Solid, 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 solid. And we have a greater than or equal to. So a greater than or equal to, which means we are shading above. So put your pencil along this line and determine what's above, what's below. Go up, so above. Again, some example solutions might be -1, 1. Or -6, -3, right? Somewhere down here. But some non-example solutions would be like 6, 2, right? It's below the line, so that does not count. Okay, there's a couple for you guys to practice. There's this one and this one. I'll be going over those in the Unit 2B Part 2 video, so go ahead and do those problems, then go check out the Unit 2B Part 2 video, and I'll be going over those there.